loud, so you won't have any problem. No, I'm gonna stand over here. If you want to stand over there, maybe? No? All right, well, I'm Amanda. I'm her oldest and her first granddaughter. You're welcome. I'm just teasing. But like she said, I am a teacher in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we just wanted to say thank you for coming. It's really neat to see everyone that knew her, you know, years and years ago before I was even thought of. I think it's really neat to see. And so thank you all for coming and for being here.
My name's Dana, and I'm her youngest granddaughter. I don't fit in with the rest of the family when it comes to height, but I promise I'm related to her. So we thought we'd start off by just giving you a few fun facts from the year that she was born. So in 1937, a gallon of gas was just 10 cents. A loaf of bread was just 9 cents. Your average car cost only about $760. 1937 was the year that Snow White premiered. It was the year of the first total solar eclipse. And then, just to end off with a few more facts, some big people were born that year, some big stars that y'all might know. Morgan Freeman, Merle Haggard, Jane Fonda. But in our eyes, the best person that was born in 1937 was a woman that we like to call Nana. So, being that she's a teacher, she's going to kind of define and teach us some things about why we call her Nana and what that means to us. So.
Yeah, so many of you today do not know her as Nana, okay? But to us, she is Nana, and that's all she'll ever be. But with that term comes something that is so near and dear to our hearts. And so we're going to take you back to school, okay? Because that's what I do best, and she does best. And we're going to kind of break it down into some subjects that she taught us and valuable lessons. Okay, so the first thing
she taught us about was health. So we have a sponge here because in her house in Ruidoso that we would go to all the time growing up, she always made sure that we each had our own sponge and our own color and used our own toothbrush and our own toothpaste and our own washcloth. So yeah, yes. Sponge, health, that's a good subject.
Oh my gosh.
The next one, many of you may know that she loves crosswords. And I can remember some of my earliest memories are of her doing crosswords out of the newspaper and getting very upset if we moved them or wrote on them because sometimes we just thought it was an extra piece of paper. And so English and history were important for crossword puzzles. So that was definitely one.
So next we have lunch, which is not really a subject, but that's a vital part of the school day. So start that off. Here's a coffee mug, and it says best coffee in town because Nana knows this, but she always has coffee in a pot ready to drink at her house, and I'm there probably 23 out of every 24 hours when I'm home drinking coffee, whether it's 10 at night or 9 in the morning. So yeah, that's our thing to do together. So that's the first part of that.
And I think I remember my very first sip of coffee was from her coffee cup. So the next food item, which was vital in Nana's car, were Lifesaver mints. These, without a doubt, remind me of her and always taught us to freshen our breath. And they were always in her car. We probably ate 20 every car ride. So, yes.
And then next we have some different kinds of candy. First we have lemon heads because I always remember her picking us up in her blue van from elementary school, and I would always eat 1,000 lemon heads every day after school.
You know, she was very health conscious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have hot tamales because she hides these, she always has a box of them in her house, and she hides them on the top shelf, and she thinks none of us know where they are. But yesterday we went and ate a whole box of them.
They ate my hot tamales last night.
We bought you some more.
She actually thinks she has a medical addiction to these. She was venting to me about it one day. I was I don't think that's a thing, but she eats a lot. And then she eats a lot of Jordan almonds, and y'all have those on your table. So.
And then just to throw in a couple extra funny stories, I remember one time we were all in Ruidoso with cousins and aunts and whatnot, and we were starving. We got home at 8 o'clock at night, and my mom was saying how, no, we have this lasagna we have to make. And all of us kids are really? Lasagna's the longest thing to cook. oven, an hour and a half. And so, exactly, sometimes longer. So we get home and we complain a little bit, but we're like, okay, well 9:30's rolling around. And they're like, oh, the lasagna's ready. Nana walks over to the oven and the lasagna's sitting on top of the stove. Needless to say, we did not wait another hour and a half. We went and got Church's chicken. It was the only thing open at that time. And one more funny story. Yes.
So one time we were also in Ruidoso and we were getting ready to eat dinner and she was making spaghetti for all of us. So we're all sitting on the table and we start eating the spaghetti and all of us are like, this is so spicy. Like, what is going on? Like, we did not know why it tasted so spicy. And it tasted kind of funny too. And we go to look at the jar of spaghetti sauce out of the trash can, and it turns out that Nana had bought, instead of a jar of spaghetti sauce, a jar of salsa, and used that as the spaghetti sauce on the spaghetti.
And I wasn't even 80 yet.
Her memory gets better with age. And then something we'll always also remember last to tie up the lunch portion of our day is potato soup. We always have potato soup at Christmas Eve, and that's something that we'll probably continue on for years and years to come, even with our future children and spouses. And so that's just something we love. Our next subject is arts and crafts, which, if you know Nana, art's probably her favorite subject. I can remember, again, since I can remember, going over, and we always did sand kits. Those little figurines where you'd pour sand, different sand colors and the different layers, and we just happened to find that. And then pretty sure she introduced painting to me. I have countless paintings that I've done, and I loved spending time in her art room, which was just like going to Disneyland for me. So she definitely poured in her creativity genetically and teaching me more and more throughout the years.
And you know what, I have to say something here. She did a painting when she was in 3rd grade, and it won the, I showed her how to do it kind of was a batik painting, and she won 1st place in the little school art show we had.
Thanks to Nan.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat, you know.
Yeah, and the last part of the art subject would be this little bead kit. I don't know if any of y'all know what these are, but I remember so often in Ruidoso we would have these little beads and you put them on the little spikes and like iron them or heat them in the oven and it melts. And so we just saw these and they reminded us so much of like crafts we used to do with our cousins and stuff in Ruidoso. So this is definitely something that reminds us of Nana.
Okay, and the next subject, which isn't really a subject, but picture day. Okay, picture day, you want to look presentable, wear your best dress, and of course makeup for girls. I can very vividly remember going into her back bathroom, her guest bathroom, and having a million lipsticks and blushes and eyeshadows, and she let me do whatever I pleased in that bathroom. And you know, I probably came out looking like a clown the first couple times, but so we found and replenished your lipstick and your eyeshadows that you so kindly let us play with.
So the next thing is not really a subject either, but as well as being a teacher, she was also kind of our nurse in our lives, like a school nurse was. So we got ibuprofen because I just remember so many times when I would be sick in elementary school, Nana would always be the one who came and picked me up and let me go over to her house and like took care of me when I was sick or when I wasn't feeling good. So ibuprofen.
And I remember in middle school I would get severe migraines. I'd get them about once a week. And the first one that I ever had that I had to go home, I lost peripheral vision, was vomiting, I just not well, and my Nana came over and she scratched my back and she played with my hair until I could fall asleep and not have my head hurt anymore. And on the subject of picking up from school, this is a funny story too. My lovely dad right here, learning how to be a dad, left me at school till about 6:30 at night one time because he was in college taking an exam, and my lovely Nana is the only one that would answer the phone to come get me. Great parents.
with her mama with work.
Yes.
So to finish it off, our last thing that we have in the basket is just a puzzle. And it's a donut puzzle because we all know how much Nana loves sweets and eating anything with sugar in it. But we also remember doing puzzles with her all the time growing up. She would have like a puzzle laid out on a table in Ruidoso or at her house and just always working on it and then gluing them and putting them up. But really just to tie this all up, the reason that we ended with the puzzle is just because, like, in the puzzle of life, I guess you could say, Nana was like one of the most important pieces of our lives. The puzzle would not be complete without Nana in our lives. Just a few things about her. She's just probably like the best listener there is in my life. Anytime I ever like need to talk about anything, she's always there to listen to it. She asks tons of questions that just show that she really cares. She gives the best advice. I know I can remember times when I've been going through something and she'll send me like a long email with advice because it's too long to text or put on Facebook and she can't call me yet because I'm in college, but she'll send me like a long email. Another thing about her is just her sense of humor. Me and Amanda think that we kind of inherited our humor from her. We were talking about it the other day, and me and Amanda have like the same sense of humor. We're always laughing at everything, the most silly things. And I was like, Amanda, where do you think we like got our sense of humor from? And she was like, I think Nana. And so like, that's honestly who we attribute it to. And so just always laughing with her at the silly stories like what we told y'all. And just a few other things. And we all know she's very well respected in the community. She's always been elegant and classy. But just very down to earth, always adventurous, still taking RV trips at the age of 80 and going to Ruidoso every month. And so those are just a few things about her. And just like a great mom, a great sister, a great grandma. Couldn't imagine anyone else as our Nana. So
Yeah, and I think something that I admire most about her is that she's always been just as equally involved in our lives as our mom was. And our mom is very involved, and her faith, she has shown her faith so well. She loves like Jesus does and gives of herself freely and thinks of herself way after she thinks of everyone else. And personally, I've gotten to the stage where now I get to look back and see the wife that she was and apply that to my own life. And then hopefully, same thing, becoming a mom and a grandmother. I'm going to take that, and I look to you just like I do mom. So, love you.